Most of them are gone. All right, folks. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. We call the meeting to order. Page here. All here. Peoples here. Shoulders
Here.
Yes.
Okay. Think we have any proclamations for appointments tonight? We do have public comments. Is there anybody? Do we have anybody signed up back there going to speak?
Sam.
I didn't mark that I was speaking.
You're just hanging out with us. All right. We do have a presentation, but that's not in the public comment, right?
Correct.
We do that later.
Yeah.
Okay, hearing none, moving on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda tonight, 6 items, the regular Board of Trustees meeting minutes from the July 21st meeting. Approval of bills, in the amount of $310,845.24. Treasurer's report from August, investment recommendations. Consideration and possible approval of special event permit 2026-14, which is the pickleball. And consideration possible approval of right-of-way permit number 106 for Volo. Are there any questions about any of those items?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Shoulders,
Yes.
Cummins.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0. Okay, moving right along to new business. We have a presentation and consideration of proposed development at East Peters Drive, and I think we have some folks here that want to come up and talk to us about that.
I can hand you guys some stuff.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Sir.
Do we have 2 extra copies?
Yes, please.
Greg, you leave a couple more up here for
For
the.
the 2 folks that aren't here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put it in your box.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys meeting us tonight.
No problem.
I'm gonna let Jay introduce himself and then I'll introduce myself.
My name is Jay Lehman, born and raised in Champaign, live in Mahomet now, been friends with Craig Dilly for a while now. Him and his wife, Kristen, I work with Kristen in real estate, was able to get that property under contract myself about a month ago, so we have it under contract. I know Craig's expertise in development and construction, so was gonna partner with Craig. And Craig had talked to me kind of about the situation here in St. Joe. Had a chance to also meet with Joe probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. And said, hey, let's get a meeting on the docket. And so we're here today. Craig will do most of the talking, but if you want to question me or pepper me, I'm fine with that too. But Craig is the expert on it, and I'll let him take over from here.
Yeah, so I think I know most of you guys, but I'm Craig Dilly, for those that don't. 20+ years in public service, lifelong resident of St. Joe, and coinciding with that was about 20 years of construction experience and 15 years in some real estate investment. So what we're wanting to do tonight is basically just present some preliminary ideas for a residential development at 701 Peter Drive. I think you guys are probably familiar with the background. And really, I think our goal tonight is start a conversation, figure out something that can work for all of us, you know. So I'm not going to read line by line what I handed out, but as kind of a preliminary overview, the 701 Peters Drive parcel, what we're proposing is a 56 townhome development. These would be 2-story buildings with a mix of 2- and 3-bedroom residences. Each of them having their own garage, their own parking. Also individually owned and marketable by the owners. It's not something that we're going to keep. We're going to sell to people to live there, and really more of like a neighborhood than like a rental property development or something like that. When we looked at that land after he was able to get our contract, it really, for that size parcel, we felt like townhomes was probably the most efficient use for that ground. It's big enough to support something like this, but probably not big enough to do a traditional real estate development where you're building single family homes. We do think it's important for you guys to understand, like 56 is kind of the number where for us, it creates enough scale to make the infrastructure investment, kind of worth it on our end. The reason we're here tonight too is also talk about what a partnership with you guys looks like. That's important for us. We're not trying to come in and ramrod a development. We want something that you guys want as well. We've spent a considerable amount of time exploring some of the costs with this. And while we think it's a great opportunity for St. Joe, the realities are that we're going to need a couple of things from you guys. And one is some TIF funds. Talk about that with this project, and then the other is some zoning variances. We've identified a lot of the site and infrastructure work is TIF eligible. And then once again, have identified for this project to be financially viable for us, we'll need to address some of those costs through the TIF. Not bringing you a final number tonight, not bringing you like a steadfast number tonight. Tonight is just literally bringing this to your attention and starting from there. We fully intend on this being a working relationship with you guys, and we'd love to pursue that. The other thing, we know that currently what we're asking does not fit into the zoning requirements for that area. We are looking forward to working with the zoning and planning board and finding something that we think fits well with the community. I will reiterate again, that being said, that while we're not making demands, we are saying that for this to be financially viable for us, there is a certain number of units that we'll need to construct to make that work. We feel like forcing this project into a much lower unit count really kind of makes it unsuitable. From the village's standpoint, we do believe that this is a worthwhile investment in the community. We're looking forward to partnering with you guys and being a solution to a few things. One of them is the declining population we've talked about. We also feel like for that particular parcel, the tax base that we can create with that, with 56 individual units, is substantially higher than a different use it might have. And furthermore, the amount of people that it'll bring to St. Joe. I love going to Jack Flass and Casey's and eating in town, and I love our IGA, and I think that you bring 56 more families in town, they'll find that same benefit. Probably the most exciting thing for me is that I've been a lifelong resident in St. Joe. I was born here, or not born here, but raised here, moved here when I was 5. Just built a house, not going anywhere, got a high schooler, a middle schooler, and a grade schooler. And I think that what I bring being part of this project is a vested interest in the community. I'm not somebody that's coming in town looking to do something, make a few bucks and get out of here. This is not my legacy, but it's certainly my name. And I, from the very first shovel that goes in the ground to the project's done, I'll be a part of it. I am going to be the general contractor on the build for the dirt work, the infrastructure, the building, and all that. So, like I said, in closing, we're not asking you guys to make a decision tonight, rather kind of presenting this to you, looking for your feedback. We do have some timelines on our end when it comes to real estate transactions that we have to abide by, but we certainly are, we're certainly looking to work with you guys and wanting to try to get this accomplished, but yeah, happy to answer your questions you guys might have.
What timelines are you talking?
Yeah, so our due diligence expires September 7th. As far as trying to get answers for zoning and TIF money. It's all negotiable. We got to September 5th and you didn't have something, we thought we were working towards something. We could extend that. As of right now, it's September 7th due diligence. Stuff kind of gets finalized and we would close October 2nd on the ground currently. That's all flexible. If we feel like we're making progress, we could ask for an extension.
Yeah. And as far as on my side of things, breaking ground, I would say at the earliest is May or June of next year. There's going to be a ton of engineering, architecture, with technically subdividing that ground, there's a process to go. So we're not breaking ground next month, but we're certainly, if this is all agreed upon, we all like what we're gonna do here and if it moves forward, we're not wasting any time. We'll get started on it immediately.
Based on my conversations with these two developers, their first question they need an answer to is if you all would support a TIF agreement for this project. And so what I would be looking for from you all is direction if you want me to spend time negotiating an agreement with these two to bring back at a meeting in the future. So that's just the high level issue that just want to get a feel for. It doesn't commit you to anything. You can say no when I bring it
You
back.
have to see the agreement.
Yeah.
Well, I for one, I'm excited about growth. Anybody willing to put a shovel in the ground and get something going?
Might be a skid steer, but we'll.
Yeah, that's right.
Joe, are you looking, is this basically a straw vote situation?
If you would, yeah, I think if you just give me direction, consensus is all I'm looking for. So if you wanted to do a quick vote, great. If
We
you
did
just,
have a TIF agreement with this property.
yes,
Yes,
Yep.
I don't see why we would.
Right.
Okay.
Does anybody see
Anybody
any
disagree?
reason not to object to Joe negotiating a TIF agreement, the payment schedule? No.
okay.
So
So
we'll do
we'll,
it.
we'll shoot for that. We have some data we have to get from them, from estimates and stuff like that, so we can get projections, but sure, hopefully at the next meeting or the one after that, we can have something for you all to consider.
And then at some point, what's the trigger for going to planning and zoning?
They'll have to apply for the subdivision application and all those different steps that are involved with this project. So they would have to apply and we would have for a public hearing, you have to have a 15 to 30 day heads up before one of those. So they're not going to be doing this probably until
September.
or September or October, one of the two. Yeah. So that's the kind of the timeline.
So just to clarify, you couldn't adjust the zoning until we get in front of the planning and zoning board.
Correct.
That would probably be late September, early October.
Yeah, at the earliest, just to consider it.
So with that, I would talk to the seller about possibly getting an extension to, in the due diligence case, just so you guys know our timeline. We'll try to extend it from September 7th to say October 15th, which would push our closing back to probably November, but they wouldn't delay the construction of things. They would I just need to make sure those are buttoned up. I can tell the seller what your guys' timeline is.
We have to do it right, because we have to publish in the paper, don't we?
Yeah.
And all
Oh,
the legal stuff that we're required to do before it goes to planning and zoning.
No, let us play.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Jim, Mark.
Oh, Mark has a question.
Yeah, I was just taking a quick looking at our zoning ordinance, Joe can correct me, but you got ag, R1, R2, R2A, R3, R4. Commercial, general, commercial downtown and industrial. You don't have any other classifications other than that. What I think they were saying is they'll want one of those classifications, but they still won't fit inside of it.
Correct.
And they'll need some variances.
Yes.
Tossing this out there for you to think about, because you'll run into this again in the future. I would add or suggest we consider adding a new zoning classification called the planned unit development. That's where the developer comes in and says, I got this chunk of land, this is what the uses I want on it, these are the kinds of things that I want. And then you kind of treat that like a special use variance kind of package. And then you can go ahead and relax all kinds of things and put new constraints on it in order to let them build exactly the pretty picture they proposed. And you'll find that like in a Savoy or a Champaign or Urbana, and it might be easy to, at the same time that you're looking at their project, you could also be looking at the zoning change and do the zoning change, so they got the classification. And then they could consider applying for it underneath there, and I think it would be more efficient for a project like what they're describing.
What's the process for adding a zoning classification?
Exactly the same as a variance. It's the same kind of notice stuff, and you can throw that all in the same ad.
You can do it all at the same time, so.
Well, but I don't want to, the problem for them is that in order to get it approved as a PUD, they're gonna need to spend money on engineers to draw that pretty picture and to come up with all of the things that they need to go into it. So we're like with R1, they know, you already know what you have to do in order to build a single family house. Here, they wanna do kind of a custom project. Well, there's a lot of detail we want before we're just gonna sign off on the custom project. So that's the yin and the yang of it.
Okay. So,
And I wanna caution you, it's your call what dates you're looking at, but I still think that mid-October is gonna be an aggressive date, given all the nuances to this. Unless you're just step up and just buy it, that's your choice, and then deal with this later.
Understood. I do have, for tax purposes, I'm intending to do my exchange and like to vote for December 8th. But you talk about, you understand what I'm saying with that. There's some money that I've already sold a copy rolled into this. It's not the end of the world if it gets past that, but it'd be ideal if we could close on it by December 8th or sooner. For tax purposes, to put some of the money toward buying that lot.
If you were walking in with a set of plans and all the details already done, then there'd be no problem making your October deadline.
Sure.
That's the plain going that I see.
well, I think the board supports exploring this project. Do the TIF first, and then we'll work on
That's the first step.
that's the first step. Because financially, you gotta know what that is for your infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then we start working on the zoning piece of this with the planning and zoning board. Uh, So we get that done, so I think the four of us that are here, five of us are here, are supportive,
Okay,
so.
I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
My contact info is on that package. I'm happy to answer any questions that come up individually if you guys have. Meet somewhere or.
I do have
Yeah.
one question. I don't know if you know this, but if you could give me a round number of what something like that would sell for.
Yeah, some of our initial, is like 310 to 315, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Thank you.
And these are gonna be, they're gonna. I don't know right terminology I want to use, but I would say on the upper end of being nice.
Okay.
Right, like they're
Mhm.
not gonna be, I mean, I want them to fit in. I want for the next
Right.
30 years, when you see me down at the store or whatever, be like, hey man, that place turned out nice. I'm not
Mhm.
looking to come in and build something junky. I hope I have a reputation as a developer, a guy that's fixed up houses that will hopefully carry through to this
Great.
project.
Thank you.
I'm assuming there'll be a homeowners association to take care of it.
There will be, yeah, and I think that's one thing that I probably failed to mention. We talked about like, okay, does Rainbow Drive stay private? Does it? I really think we probably, when we're discussing this, need to talk about it being a city street. I don't know if, I don't know HOA wise.
Well, I just think that long term, if we're taking
Yeah.
care of a private road, the HOA could make it more unaffordable for people to purchase that. The HOAs normally in a townhome would take care of exterior maintenance, roofs, landscaping, snow,
Mhm.
mowing. If you add a road in every 20 years that you have to redo.
Yeah.
That could be substantial, and I know that is one of the biggest objections we get when trying to sell townhomes is people want to know what the HOA is. And we need to keep that affordable for people.
Understood.
Got any other questions? Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim. I'm gonna see. What's it saying on it? All right, consideration and possible approval of sales contract for the property at 407 South Main.
They have copies in their packet.
I got extra copies.
So
Yeah, if you're looking at the copy, you're just flip into the back part, ignoring the ordinance part, for this one, the thing that says sales contract. And we want to figure out how we want to fill that out. Joe and I were talking about this and kind of set it up so that we can fill all this out to the way you like it.
Hey, guys, could you take that out to the hallway, please?
We could fill it out the way you like it, and then if you feel ready to approve it, we can approve it tonight. And then if you don't feel ready to approve it, and you got something you want to think about, well, then we'll take it over to the next meeting.
Really, the only thing is if there are, like, with Exhibit A. Where was that? Yes, Exhibit A 15. Section 15, special terms, if we have any conditions we want to put on that.
And I don't know, yes, and Mark and I talked about, I don't know if you just mentioned this, Mark, I'm sorry if I missed it, but you have another opportunity to add special conditions to this with the special use permit that you'll be considering at a later time also. So this isn't your only opportunity to add conditions to this sale, so.
Yeah, I think one of the things, when we're looking at the special terms part, one thing that we want to put in there that would actually write any of this stuff out tonight, so it'd be ready to approve, we can approve it. But I think the buyer is anticipating that they'll buy this if their special use permit gets granted. And if it doesn't, then they don't want to have to close on it. Right. And you have to decide if you're comfortable with having that in the contract or not. And then if we put it in the contract, to Joe's point, that means that they go through the special use permit process. Planning figures out whether or not there are extra things they have to do in order to get that permit. Maybe there's to be extra fencing or lighting needs to be done a certain way, or some landscaping needs to be done, or special parking needs to be done, all that kind of stuff. And then they figure all that out, and then you'll ultimately approve that. And if you deny all of that or do it in a way where they don't like it, then they would want to get out of the contract. So even if we didn't put any other special terms in there, we put that special term.
We have another bite at the apple.
You have a bite at the apple. Okay. But if you know there's something you want up front, I love the idea of putting it in right now. This is our window to do that.
So we had talked before about, we kind of viewed this similar as the property when we did the bank, right? Didn't we talk about that last time?
Yes,
Mhm.
in the sense that was R1 and you all created a special classification with within R1 to give a special use allowance for
Right.
that, yeah.
Right. And then we had some things that were added to that, like if they were to sell the property, they couldn't like sell to like Walmart or anything like that. There were things on certain kinds of businesses and things that they could sell to.
Only the special use that they were given and any other additional uses in R1 that are already there.
Already there,
Yeah.
okay, okay, and that doesn't need to be in there, that's not anything that needs to be.
yeah,
in the
I don't-
piece.
I mean,
I don't know, I'm just.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you can address that whenever you create a special use allowance, that'll limit them. I mean, you can,
Mhm.
but I think this is a little bit different because you're selling this property to them.
Right.
And with Philo, that was obviously private to private
Right,
type of.
okay,
transaction,
just
but-
want to make sure that was clear in my head, so.
Well, I don't have any issues with this right now. I'd like to think a little bit more about what special terms we could address that in a special use permit. Are we subdividing? Have we done the subdivision process of this to separate this piece out from the larger piece that it is?
I have not received that from the engineers yet, but we were gonna subdivide off the farm ground from. The back end
So
of
Joe, the
that.
legal that I've got, it's exhibit A to the contract. Is a big chunk of land and we're breaking this parcel up.
Yes. So does that mean we need to get that resolved before?
In a perfect world, yeah, I'd love to have it right now and I'd substitute it for this. I can write something up. How big a parcel is it that they're acquiring?
It,
An acre.
I mean, I can show you an image
Okay,
that it's basically, if you go look at the property, it's all the property, or all the area that's grass. And then we're keeping farm ground behind that, basically. Yeah,
I mean, our turnaround time is probably
in easement, yes.
4 weeks to get something, I mean. I know that the engineers are like really packed right now, but they're at the tail end of their stuff. But I would think it would take 4 weeks to get that. I could write something up that says that this is contingent on, also contingent on us. Agreeing on the breakout, and if the village at its cost will go ahead and have it broken out.
This was listed in the RFP that we put out. So it was sort of clarified roughly what the layout would look like.
Okay,
So I think it might already be close to done. I just got to touch base with the
oh, so we
engineer about,
already ordered it, so.
yes, I just got to see where they're at with it. So I think we should have it. I
Well,
hope
then my
so.
thought is, I can either write up some language that just says that we'll all be agreed as to what it is, and we put that into this agreement. Or we kind of kick it to the next meeting, we'll have that in time and substitute it onto the contract. We can go either way, but.
We don't know that we're gonna get it by the next meeting.
Yeah, I can't guarantee that.
All right, then I'll write some up and you'll either be comfortable with it or you
We're
won't.
not.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
But there's an easement with this too.
Yes.
So that we
we're-
can access the farmland behind the building at this point.
But we're holding on to it ideally because it's strategically important for the village from a stormwater standpoint, right? So, yeah, this FFA might not have it forever, obviously, just to,
Right.
but
So is there thought on still doing a retention pond in there? 'Cause
Yeah,
we went and got, signatures to try and help let people know that we've gone out and reached out to neighbors and stuff and, heard concerns over flooding and stuff. And,
Right.
I learned more about that property than what I was aware of even, but, with that, potentially becoming a retention pond. I also saw that, Joe, you and I talked about this before, where there is a private lane that goes down from the west side, off of the slab, Sydney slab, but the Butzos on that, I saw that that was for sale. Is that something that the village is looking at, or?
no, we haven't. Yeah, that's, yeah, off of Proctor, I believe is the name of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, Proctor's a private street too. It's not a public street, so.
Yeah, I think they still have that listed for sale.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
The easement, I know that that has been discussed a little bit, but there have also been like power boxes and transformers pulled put in what is already an easement in there. Is that something that would end up getting shifted to not come into my property, or?
if you go back and look at the RFP, there's a rough sketch of what it'll be. If you go look at that, there's an image there, and hopefully that'll answer, but basically just big enough for somebody to be able to access with equipment. The retention pond in the back, so the normal size of like an alley basically is what we originally were looking at with that. The engineer was,
Like farm equipment will not fit down a normal alley.
it was our engineer was supposed to be creating this for us, this subdivision that the board would have to approve to subdivide that lot, so I just don't know where that's at.
Okay,
We want to take as little as possible.
yeah,
Right.
on that page, yeah.
I mean, we don't want to,
Yeah,
take half your
right, yeah,
operational area. Sir?
Make a comment on that. I've lived a neighbor to that property for 50 years. Okay, so I've got a little experience in that. Once upon a time, that was a super flood area coming off the farm property.
Right.
Well, the school did one thing that really made a tremendous impact, which might impact this project too. They put that retention pond there at the corner of Peters and Fifth.
So this is a different parcel.
I thought you were talking right there where, the ribbon dog owned.
No, that was the previous one. We've moved on to the church property that we're selling. So we just got a different property that we're looking at.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
you're not right next to the daycare center.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
nope.
Now, this is the church on Main Street. So we're waiting on the engineers.
I think the ones
And then
that we had talked about last time was you said that there was either gonna be fencing or landscaping. And
Well, I mean, both.
that lighting would not be an issue.
No, we basically would put something in to make it fit in as much as we can. Not really commercialized. I mean, it will be the addition that we're proposing is a Oak Spring building. So it probably will have some metal siding, but it'll be like stone and then metal. The lighting would be dim, nothing, no, we're not gonna
Right around the building.
light it up or anything. Yeah, no parking lot lighting or anything
I
like
lived down
that.
by the park and deal with the ball field lights. So.
Yeah. It won't be it, yeah. No, we had neighbors, with that concern last time. I had a question that our renderings kind of helped show what we were looking to do, and, kind of told everybody that they've looked at that for several years now, decades, and, we have to just make it better, so.
Okay, awesome. So,
We're just waiting. Mark's putting something together right
Yeah.
now. for us.
Chat amongst yourselves if there's, I'm almost done, if there's any other kind of special condition you want to put into this, because I'm on a roll over here.
And my plan, I guess depending on how much property we retain going towards the north, but, if I could have the building wide enough, I won't have to go as deep. With that, then with the easement, I would have a gravel lot on the back side of the building inside of a fenced area. To be able to keep any extra trailers, dumpsters, things of that nature, so that whenever you're driving by, it is just a building. Nothing outside, nothing of that sort, so.
appreciate that. Awesome.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people thought we were sold last night. I don't know if somebody went into business selling those listing signs in that area, but it would have been a great idea. Because we were asked, before they recognized us, if we had permits. You could hear people after you knocked on the door saying, "Honey, it's solar again." And then we would end up talking to them for 20 minutes, but, I was very thrown off by that. I can't.
That's crazy.
Sounds like you've done your due diligence.
We tried. I don't know, Mark, if you'll want to do these or if anybody wants, but we got a dozen signatures from. What was that, Second Court over there, Main Street, across Douglas. Anybody that we could.
You'll want to top that up when you're going through the special use.
Yeah.
Process. That's where they'll pay attention to.
Okay.
But for
Yeah, hang on to that.
Okay.
All right.
Everyone that we talked to was, okay with everything, so the only signatures we didn't get were people that weren't home, so.
All right, so I'll actually read to you the language that I wrote up, but before I do that, I'm going to tell you what each section means. I only wrote 2 sections. The first one's just saying, hey, this deal's conditioned on his being able to get a special use permit. And if he can't get one, he gets to terminate the contract, gets earned stuff back. The catch is we want some kind of time frame on it. With special use permit process and the yin and the yang of it, I'd like to be generous. So I'm proposing giving them 120 days to get through that process. I think the shortest you could get away with would be 90. Theoretically, you could get away with 60, but I like the idea of having some cushion. Do you have a consensus as to how much time to give them on this? 60, 90, 120, or anything in between?
I'd be okay with giving him 120, just to make sure that he's got everything in line.
Okay, and just for clarification, on day 119, I've got some language that you'll hear that says he's got to make an effort, so he can't just blow it off. But if he's kind of made the application and it's not looking so good, then on day 119, he just says, sorry, you went through all this troubles, village, you get nothing for it, they get earnest money back, you have to walk. Okay, that's how I wrote it. All right, then the other thing I stuck in here is that the deal is contingent on us breaking an acre out of the legal description. So on that exhibit A, I chicken scratched some stuff. So what will eventually get signed is this ordinance with all the stuff I'm telling you about already marked up and cleaned, so it looked like it was never altered. And what I'm gonna put at the top of that is a 1 acre plus or minus portion of the following described tract. So we're not selling the whole chunk of land that's on exhibit A. And then in that miscellaneous provision, I'm putting in this stuff that just says, yeah, we're gonna mutually work on agreeing on what the legal description of that 1 acre tract is gonna be. And if somebody gets ticked off about it or isn't happy, then they can give the other person, and that includes us, we can give him a notice saying, yeah, we're not getting along, we're not agreeing where we want to put it. We'll send you a notice saying, we're gonna terminate the contract, you get your earnest money back. And likewise, he can do the same thing. This isn't where you told me it was gonna be, this engineer's got it somewhere else and I can't do business there. He can send us a notice that terminates it, and he gets his earnest money back. So this is pretty generous for him, but I mean, we're not, we're a good faith entity and want to treat.
And Mark, the price is the price regardless of where we're putting it in line, right?
Yep.
So if it gets put at 1.5 acres, the price doesn't go up. It's just, this is the price.
Yep, it's a flat
We
price.
agree to where the lines are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Joe and I have been out there and we've kind of discussed what that is and talking about the easement. It was understood that basically that would be kept around the perimeter. So
Right.
thinking about where that's at and kind of walking things
And
off.
don't rely too much on the acre. That was Jim Page making it up as I said up there, so.
The
Yeah,
total parcel with the farm ground and the grass area included is 3.79 acres. The grass area that we're talking about here is a fourth.
So less than an acre.
Yeah, so it's not, an acre is probably a fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, in your estimation,
it's definitely more than a quarter of an acre. I know
Oh, yeah.
quarter acre lots are here, so I know that.
the easement that you're contemplating, is that gonna be inside of this 1 acre tract, or it's gonna be around it, or you don't know yet?
It's going to be on the very north side of the property. And I didn't say it was a quarter acre. I said that the entire, everything included is 3.79, and this is about a fourth.
Of that.
So maybe it's 3/4 of an acre or whatever, something like that.
0.8.
Yeah, some,
Then I'm gonna change the acre to 3/4, just, it could be, you can still agree on an acre and a half if you want, or on half of acre, but. But I still like to ballpark it as close to reality as I can. Let me put in this easement one real quick. I want to get a very exciting reality show like just watch me in action. All right, so if you're approving this ordinance, in section 15 where it says special terms, we put in two paragraphs. The first one is entitled special use permit within transactions conditioned on buyer applying for and being granted a special use permit that would allow its use for buyer's fencing business. Is it a fencing business?
Overhead door.
Garage door business, sorry.
We'll be putting a fence in, but.
Don't worry, I'll have more things I stroke later. I just put these in here to make sure you're paying attention. Buyer will diligently and expeditiously apply for the special use permit, and if unable to secure it, may terminate this agreement with return of earnest money if tendered within 120 days of this agreement. Then the second provision is property breakout and easement. The parties acknowledge that the buyer will purchase a 3/4 plus or minus acre tract derived from Exhibit A being drawn by the village engineer. Parties agree in good faith to review the engineer's work and mutually agree to a legal description of the anticipated 3/4 acre tract. The parties also agree that seller shall retain an easement on said parcel, which shall be mutually agreed to by the parties. In the event either party is dissatisfied with said description, then either party may terminate this agreement upon written notice to the other with the return of their earnest money to buyer, so long as said notice is tendered within 90 days executed in the spring. So you're all okay with that? All right. Now, flipping back to the beginning of the contract. Given all of this, I would say that we should put a closing date that's within 130 days. You want, as a lawyer, you're looking for an absolute deadline by which someone has to perform. So we've got 120-day notice part, so if we put it at 130, that kind of covers for that. That doesn't mean that we can't close on it in 6 weeks, but we mutually have to agree to it. If we can't mutually agree and we're haggling, then nobody can yell at the other with big time dirty letters until the 130-day part goes past, and then someone blew their deadline to close by that deadline. You know what that means. Are you comfortable with that?
I mean, best case scenario, we hear back from the engineers sooner and we can. close.
Well, he wants to get moving and building, so
Right.
people have incentive to move forward, but we're also looking for a drop dead deadline on a lot of this stuff, so that's
Yeah,
why.
it can happen before these.
As long as you mutually agree, but
Right.
if he's saying, man, you know, I can't start building until whenever, and if I buy it sooner, I'm gonna start paying the bank and not getting benefit from it, he's gonna try to drag us out.
I don't plan to build. I won't do that, but
No, but everybody has to protect themselves, and
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Right. Unless you have some. issues.
Yeah, good.
So I'm just gonna put in within 130 days execution of this agreement for the closing deadline. All right, and then what did we say the purchase price is gonna be?
Can you look it up really fast here, please?
I think he was wanting to give you $3 million.
I remember 3 million actually, yeah,
You were gonna discount it to $1 million, this is a good guy.
yes.
Microphone, so there's-
80,000 was the proposal.
Yes, that we just got there at the same time, yeah, 80,
80.
80,000.
$80. All right, and then lawyers love to have some kind of earnest money. And doesn't have to be $80,000, but it'll be something, so he's got some skin in the game, so, you know.
What's traditional for,
Chicago, yeah, the Chicago area, 10% would be traditional, but, you know, that got money to shut a small business, so. You know,
I'm fine with 10%.
there you go,
That's what I was gonna suggest. I think that's fair.
all right. And then I'm sorry, what's the entity that's buying this?
The legal name is Reliable Doors LLC. Yeah,
And what's your business address?
1714 County Road, 2000 East. St. Joseph, 627.
Okay, so if you flip back to the ordinance part, what you're gonna be voting on would be all this filled out with today's date in the ordinance part with the lights. And then on the sales contract, you've heard what I've said. We're gonna fill in the buyer's name as I just described at 80 grand with 8,000 down, closed within 130 days. And then the other stuff that I just read to you. And if that sounds okay, then someone make a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the sale of real estate located at 407 South Main as presented with modifications announced during the meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. What he said.
What you said.
Yes.
Childers.
Yes.
Cummings.
Yes,
Walsh.
Yes.
Motion passed. All right, we'll get this cleaned up tomorrow morning and then we'll get it over to Joe and, you know, it doesn't have to get signed immediately, but just get it done. Yeah, well, that was more than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, we'll send you the amended contract. We can send you the whole ordinance, yeah. I'll let you jot down here. I probably have it, but jot down.
It's very-
Yeah, that was too. We move on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's been
Yeah,
voted on and approved, so let's move on to item number 3, update the direction on properties, priority property maintenance project. Two that the board selected, that's this thing again. 2 properties that the board selected last time. I apologize, I wasn't at that meeting, but it was 706 East Warren, the yellow house at 50. They've made substantial progress. If you go by there, the jungle in the back is staying right. They have done some work on that. They're not done.
It's not in compliance and the structure is still not secured, but they've done enough to maybe hold us off for a little bit.
Right.
Give them a little bit more time and see what they do.
And then the one at 407 East Lincoln, same thing. Property is currently in compliance. He had a lot of stuff.
Pictures.
That's the one with the function boat and
What about the noise still on the village property?
Yeah, so that is still being addressed.
so, 2 letters. We got some progress done without investing legal money. So look at the next 2.
are we gonna keep to the ones that are most visual? We had talked about this before, I'm not trying to control anything, just kind of bringing up that they're visual on like main streets. When people come to our community, those are ones that they see. And I think we were doing Lincoln and 150, you know, because those are streets that most people travel when they see our community. So I just wanted to bring that up. I feel like that's the way I'm looking at things. I don't know how you're looking at things, so.
Leave it to you folks, what you think.
Not in there in like ABC, they're just listed by that address.
You can just say
But I
the
can say,
number.
like,
Yeah.
The top one on that first sheet
Uh-huh.
would be my.
Okay.
Or top pick.
That would be one of mine. I had a couple, but that would be one.
Anybody else? We've got
Is there a consensus on the one that Andrea and Terry mentioned? Steve and Matt and Mayor,
Which one?
It's this.
the one on the very first sheet.
Oh, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
I agree. No, I'm good with that.
yeah.
I mean,
it's.
it needs to be, something needs to be acknowledged.
It
I
is
think
out.
we're at that point.
Yeah,
If we've done, you know, yes,
I put that.
absolutely. And it's right in a visible place where people are, more people than, you know,
That's free.
from, yes, yes. It's kind of high visual.
What's your other one?
I would say the bottom on the second page, second full page.
Mm,
That's a definite issue.
Can you point to the one you're,
he's talking about this one.
I have not had a chance to talk to that property owner. Like what we talked about, I've been focusing on the two that we previously selected. At that meeting, you all wanted me to have just a conversation with, and I'm happy to do that, I just haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I think with the first two being remedied without legal action, I think we can move forward with this. And that's gotta be a giant, I know a couple of neighbors in there, that area who have expressed concerns that it is a giant nuisance.
Well, this is just, you all can pull consensus out of everybody, and once I get that consensus, then I'll start working on whichever ones, so.
I'm abstaining.
I think those two are fine with me. I support that.
I think we need to do the other one on Lincoln. If we did the one across the street, we need to do the other one.
Yeah.
Are we just doing two or are we doing
Right across the
three?
street.
We need to do that as well, since we did the one.
Focus on one area.
I'm still okay with you verbally talking to the bottom of that second sheet.
I just have to do it, I haven't done it just because I've been trying to do some other things,
Are we discussing it?
no,
It's not like you've had pushback.
no. But, I can make a point to get that done here shortly, but,
The one you mentioned. And the one on the first page and then. Bought to
Right.
the one on the bottom page.
Mhm.
So that it's not a surprise.
what's the one that's?
The ones that talk about.
Perpetual issue.
Yeah.
That's been a problem for years.
Yep.
Same owner.
I can agree with that.
Thank you.
all, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no, thank you.
And that's the end of new business, old business. Anything? You want to bring up? Past that?
Yeah, so we had a safety and coordination meeting with a fiber company to performing work in our right of way. And we were able to document some of the concerns that we had, and they would have a conversation with them about how we expect them to perform in the right of way. And it was productive. And so we are still waiting for a little bit more information prior to giving a go-ahead for permits to be considered in the future, but we're close to that occurring. This is a reminder, we have to let these people perform in the right of way and do work in the right of way. We don't really have a choice. So if somebody asks you, why do we already have a good internet company? Why are we letting more internet companies in? They have to have some reasonable access to be able to provide services in our community. And yeah, so we're trying to control the work in the right of way by having this permitting process, and we've really tightened it up this last year. But it's a process. So anyway, just wanted to give you all an update on that piece, but that's all that I have.
Thank you. No, I'll wait and see.
Mike? Mark, anything else? Laura? How'd the festival go?
You did a great job.
I agree.
Got a lot of good feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing a survey and so far the responses have been positive, the things that people don't remember, things that we knew would have to be addressed. Anything that, it was just-
Awesome. Yeah, it was good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing nothing else. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Sandra, second. Aye. Okay.